So they host that supervisor's breakfast each year, raising funds for the essentials for Thanksgiving dinner. And this year, the hope is to be able to provide 800 dinners to those families in need. They're baskets of love, they call them boxes of love. And it's distributed to various social service agencies who then have contacts to the families that they know need them. So if you want to learn more about it, you can go to the website and you'll see islipfoodforhope.org. And of course, with the holiday season about to get into full swing, we just want to encourage everyone to join us in supporting local businesses by kicking off your holiday shopping on Small Business Saturday. Small businesses are the backbone of our community, and we're fortunate here in the town of Islip to have a vast variety of shops and restaurants who call Islip their home. Many downtown areas, some not specifically downtown, but you'll see them scattered around our town. So now more than ever, it's important that we support these small local businesses. So November 26th is officially Small Business Saturday. And we're hoping to kick off an initiative too with the airport, Shop Local, Fly Local, to encourage people to fly from Islip Airport. And I do believe there's something in the offing that you'll be hearing about. Also, the Monday following Thanksgiving, we kick off, the Youth Bureau in the town kicks off their annual holiday toy drive. Last year, we were able to collect toys, age-appropriate toys, distributed to almost 100 kids in the community. And it's because of all of you who contributed. And there are a number of drop-off sites. You can drop off here at Town Hall, at Town Hall West, or in the east end of town at Councilman Mullins' office at the Ockers House in Oakdale. Lastly, the holidays are an opportunity for us to come together and celebrate with families and friends and neighbors. And in that endeavor, the town for the first year is hosting a holiday festival and market at Brookwood Hall. Now, we're kicking it off Friday, December 2nd with the return of the drive-in movie. And we're going to have a special holiday movie, the Tim Allen classic, The Santa Claus. And come early because you'll drive through the grounds and see our holiday light show. Not as extensive as the Jones Beach one, but we don't charge you to drive through. The gates open at 5, the movie starts at 7, and again, admission is free. And then come back the next day on Saturday for our all-new Town of Islip Holiday Festival and Market from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a full day of family fun. There's going to be a gingerbread competition, an ice carving demonstration, ice skating, fire pits with s'mores, food and craft vendors, and of course, Santa Claus. The holiday market will be a perfect opportunity to do some holiday shopping for your Christmas presents, your Hanukkah presents, or your Kwanzaa presents, or whatever holiday you celebrate. There's going to be a shuttle bus provided to take you and your family to the Islip Holiday Parade at 4 o'clock right here on Main Street, and the tree lighting at 5. So be a part of this festival. It's kind of our answer to Bryant Park. Both the movie night and the holiday festival are sponsored by Good Samaritan Hospital, a member of Catholic Help. So if you want any more information about this, again, go to the website, islipny.gov, and you'll see it all. And sign up for that gingerbread house competition. In any event, on behalf of all of us here at the town board, we hope each and every one of you have an absolutely wonderful, safe, happy holiday season. And with that, we will move to our agenda. And let me pull that out here. So, oh, good, more cards. Thank you. There are no scheduled public hearings today, so we'll begin with anyone who wishes to address the board. And just to remind everyone, you have 3 minutes. And thank you, IT came up with this easy to see for everyone. Don't need glasses. This timer up here, you have 3 minutes. It's your opportunity to bring forward your issues, your concerns, complaints, compliments, whatever. But we're here to listen. It's not a question and answer, but if you do have specific issues, we have the commissioners here, and they can meet you out in the hall and handle those issues personally, one-on-one. So with that, let us go to the cards. Our first speaker is Christopher Duffner.
Good afternoon.
Oh, it's okay, you can applaud.
Good afternoon. My name is Christopher Duffner. I'm the president of the Sunrise Village Homeowners Association. I've been asked to speak in support of a petition that's been signed by nearly 200 members of my community requesting property tax relief. Sunrise Village was established in 1985 as an over 55 senior community with 202 attached single-family, one-story homes. We're located off Lincoln Avenue, just south of Sunrise Highway in Sayville, in the town of Islip. Our bylaws prohibit anyone under the age of 19 from residing in the community, regardless of any extenuating circumstances. Thus, no school-aged children have ever lived in Sunrise Village, nor will there ever be any school-aged children living in Sunrise Village. Homeowners in the community currently pay an HOA fee of $444 every month because we maintain our own roads, sidewalks, storm drains, and recharge basins. We provide our own sanitation services, including trash and recyclables collection and removal. We pay for our own snow removal services. We maintain our own sewage treatment plant. We provide our own sludge and effluent removal services. This past summer, I personally took a load of cardboard to the town recycling center just up the road on Lincoln Avenue. I was told at the entrance that I would have to pay a fee because of where I live, since the town of Islip does not provide us with trash and recyclables collection services. So I took the cardboard back home with me. There are several different home models in the community, ranging in size from about 900 square feet to just under 1,300 square feet, quite modest compared to single freestanding homes. My unit is approximately 1,250 square feet. My 21-22 tax bill was $8,640. Another resident who lives in the smallest model in the community paid over $7,000. Yet another with about an 1,100 square foot unit paid $8,324 in 21-22 tax year. And finally, a resident that resides in the largest model in our community at 1,290 square feet at a true tax of $10,763.28. We believe these property tax bills are inconsistent with the size of our homes and the services we receive from the Sayville School District and the town of Islip. So please consider some sort of tax relief to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I know that we've had this discussion before. We are governed by the Suffolk County Tax Act, so any changes to what happens has to be authorized first by the county, then goes up to the state, then it would come back here, and then we would pass enabling legislation for what's permitted. Hence, when the state determined that we could give a grace period to seniors in tax collection, taking your tax deadline, making it a week later, we passed that resolution here at the town, but we could not do that on our own motion unless we had that enabling legislation from the state. So having said all of that, as far as the amount of taxes, everyone is entitled to file a grievance. And in fact, I do believe the tax assessor is here. Is she not? And, oh, good. So perhaps when you guys are ready to leave, you can step out into the hall and she can address you about the exact procedure for filing a grievance for what you feel you're being overtaxed for. As far as the garbage collection or the dropping off of the cardboard, our DPW or DEC commissioner is here, Marty Blue, and I thought we had addressed that. But if not, we will look into that, because as a resident of the town, you're still a resident of the town, and I do believe that it's in everyone's best interest if you're dropping off the, cardboard, that you should be able to drop it off. But again, unless there's some legal reason for why that's not permitted, and we'll find that out from the commissioner. And with that, hopefully that addresses your well, it doesn't address your concerns because they won't be addressed until your taxes are lowered, but that would take a magic wand and I don't have it. So, Mr. Walsh, is there anything that I neglected? Because I know you, okay. All right, thank you. We'll go then to the next speaker, Paul Veselka. Ochelka.
Everybody. My name is Paul Vaselka. Live at 1972 Julia Goldbach Avenue in Ronkonkoma. I had gotten notices from the town in regards to the property. I've showed due diligence. Anytime I got any kind of letter, I contacted either by phone or came down to the town attorney's office and talked to Mr. Padassi. As you can see from the picture, there's a handicap ramp there. My father's 94 years old. He's a decorated, highly decorated Korean War vet. As and I tried to, conform to all the requirements that was asked of me, and it would be a due hardship if anything was to come up. I work, I go to work in the dark. I come home in the dark. And I got two 94-year-olds that I'm trying to take. I only have Saturday and Sunday, and I tried the best that I could.
Okay, Paul, I believe that property is on the agenda for the Board of Claim Resolution. So when that comes forward, I'm going to keep your card out and I'll raise that with the attorney when she goes over the items. All right.
I've been dealing with Mr. Panassi.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, Next speaker, Carol Vichelka. I assumed as much. Okay. Thank you. Next speaker is C.J. Kennedy.
Hello, my name is CJ Kennedy. I'm a senior at Sable High School as well as a member of Students for Climate Action. After our small hiatus from in-person events, we are back and ready to get work done. I would first like to thank our Town of Islip Supervisor, Angie Carpenter, for not only publicly fighting climate action, but for also being adamant about bipartisan action on this emergency. In the 2 short years, let alone the month of November, the effects of climate change are becoming more apparent. Some of these include Islip breaking the record temperatures for November, originally set in 2020 of 74 degrees. The new record temperature is 80 degrees set this November in 2022. We have broken the new record outlook high for November, for the month of November, which was originally 78 degrees set in 1991. The most recent tropical storm Nicole, which originally made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane in Florida, is only one of 3 other hurricanes to make landfall in the U.S. in United States history in the month of November. Even the citizens of Long Island are still struggling to recover from the effects of Superstorm Sandy 10 years later, which wasn't even a hurricane, it was a superstorm. I make these points not to make our task that much more daunting, but instead to stress the importance of action. Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, we don't care about your affiliation. We care about your action, and we want it now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, CJ. Serena Flomino.
Hello, my name is Serena Buono. I'm a senior at Sable High School, part of Students for Climate Action, and I'm continuing from CJ. Students for Climate Action has worked with the town of Islip to achieve many climate policy goals. Over the years, we have encouraged the town of Islip to take part in the Clean Energy Community Program with NYSERDA. As a town, we've obtained 600 points. The more points we accumulate, the more funding we can get from NYSERDA. The town has successfully accomplished unified solar permits, which make it easier for smaller private companies and buildings to install solar panels. We have accomplished energy code enforcement training, which educates compliant officers sectors with New York State energy codes. Clean fleets, which transitions government vehicles to electrically powered vehicles, and benchmarking, which gives the great benefit of identifying buildings with the greatest possible energy costs and savings. However, the energy code enforcement training and the clean fleets have actually expired and need to be re-implemented and can be re-implemented as it was successfully executed before. Despite that, this is still incredible work, so thank you for working with us and we hope to continue doing so. S4CA is also thankful for the establishment of a sustainability coordinator, Greg Hancock. As you know, we have met with countless other representatives within our town, county, and state, including current and former council members Mr. Potterin, Mr. Cochran, Ms. Bergen, Ms. Mullen, Mr. Quadrone, Mr. O'Connor, and of course our supervisor, Angie Carpenter. Steps have been taken thanks to you all. Recently, actually, we were invited to Suffolk County Community College to engage with Governor Kathy Hochul when she announced the construction of an offshore wind training job center in Brentwood, right here in town of Islip. The town will become a leader in renewable energy with the establishment of this project. So we must pass legislation to uphold and reinforce that status that has been given to us. Furthermore, Students for Climate Action is proud of where the town of Islip has come to when it comes to reducing our CO2 emissions and helping resolve the climate change crisis. As a group, we want to see the town thrive and you to further improve our local community to be resilient against the impact of climate change. We want our town to be a leader in protecting its citizens and do as much as other towns with the Climate Smart Community Program and saving the residents money in heating and cooling systems. We want to reach a level of at least bronze to be at the same level as Southampton and East Hampton, and maybe even do more. We know we can do this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, Walter Bennett.
Hello, my name is Walter Benitez, and I'm a junior at Brentwood High School. There are 9 more clean energy community actions to be accomplished. The town of Islip has done 4 with a total of 600 points. We can do more. Other towns have over 1,000 points. We want Islip to be a leader in climate mitigation and cost savings for the residents. One step we can take into taking part of the Clean Energy Communities program while saving money is implementing LED streetlights. While converting at least half of the streetlights for the program, energy efficient LED technology can reduce energy by up to 74% and up to $20 per streetlight a year while requiring less maintenance. This has already been implemented by the towns of Brookhaven and Smithtown, and they have reaped the benefits of these goals. A component in the Clean Energy Communities program that we can also have here in Islip are campaigns throughout the town. These campaigns encourage adopting new technological innovations to advance New York's reduction in global footprint. These can include community solar, clean heating and cooling energy efficiency, and electricity vehicles. The awareness of these clean energy opportunities can help lower energy bills, saving Islip residents money and reducing harmful greenhouse gas emissions. The community campaigns like these have also been seen in towns of Brookhaven and Huntington and Southampton and can be implemented here in town of Islip. Another step we can take in the Clean Energy Communities program is community choice aggregation. This would allow to purchase power in bulk for homes and small businesses, allowing communities to participate would ensure a high percentage of energy coming from renewable resources, while also having locked-in power prices for electricity at a fixed rate. This is doable. In achieving these goals, we would also like to know who we can meet with to have further discussions about implementing further action in the community. In the past, we have been told to reach out to Greg Hancock and Marion Bellew to discuss these matters further. We want to confirm that these recommended contacts are still current. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you to all the students who came down here today. And yes, those would be your contacts, Commissioner Baloo and Deputy Commissioner Hancock. And I really am very grateful that you noticed or mentioned all of the initiatives that we have done in the town. And one thing I would just like to caution, to compare us as far as 600 points as opposed to Southampton and East Hampton that achieved 1,000 points. It's a lot easier for very small towns, and they are a fraction of the size of the town of Islip. Remember, we're the 3rd largest town in the state of New York, and we are working at it, but we've got to do it in a very cohesive, systematic, and affordable way. But thank you, and again, thank you for recognizing that the department in particular has been really steadfast in the commitment to working with you. Our next speaker is Jim Schlau.
Students from Climate Action, can you provide the reporter with a copy of your speech?
Well, go mention it before he begins. Before you begin, Councilman Cochran, do you want to just add a little bit of addendum to my comment?
I want to address the students that are speaking, and we are trying to do our best to be compliant with the state and the federal, laws about green energy. And the one thing we don't get credit for, we started 10 years ago, was the bay bottom leasing and cleaning the bay up. And we don't get any credit for that. We were the first municipality that did that. We have 27 farmers out there, and Marty Blue and his crew at DEC are going to open up another 1,200 acres, hopefully next year. And that is something that we have to monitor too, is the bay. That is our backbone, and you should look into that. Make sure that's part of your credit. That you've been watching that with your founding father, who's at the University of South Carolina. What was Harrison? Yes, Harrison. So make sure you put that in there because we don't get credit for that. And it should be part of that because it really is important for our livelihood, not just the town of Islip, Babylon, all the way out to East Ham or Southampton. So thank you for what you're doing. Bless you.
Thank you. See, it's true. Jim Schlau? It's close.
I'm not Boris Johnson,
Chester, you're the
even though I have the blonde hair. Okay, Jim Slough, 1215 Cliff Street, Central Islip. I'd like to read something from Town of Islip, rental dwelling units. I don't have a law degree. It's pretty straightforward. My expertise was 7 years at Stony Brook Grad Chem and 20 years at the Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy as a physics and chemistry lab instructor. So bear with me. Here, the town board of the town of Islip has determined that serious conditions exist in the town of Islip arising from the rental of dwelling units that are substandard or in violation of the New York State Building Code, Fire Code, Fuel Gas Code, New York State Residential Code, New York State Property Management Code, Plumbing Code, Electrical Code, Multiple Residence Law, Building Rehabilitation Code, and other codes and ordinances of the town are inadequate in size and overcrowded, that such dwelling units pose hazards to the safety and well-being and property of residents of the town and others, create blight, and tend to promote and encourage deterioration of the housing stock of the town, exacerbate vehicle traffic and parking problems, and overburden multiple municipal services. The board finds that current code provisions are inadequate to halt the proliferation of such conditions and that the public health, safety, and welfare and good order and governance of the town will be enhanced by the enactment of the regulations set forth in this article, which regulations are remedial in nature and effect. So I have a minute and a half left. Uh, the officer of town code called me last night. We had a good conversation about one of the problems, and it was a positive thing that he called. And I have a picture I'd like to give you. You know, these pictures I give you cost me money, and I have to. I've been caught in the act of taking these pictures by people that live there, which is not pretty. Let me tell you that. This one here has been going on for a while. The reason I kept calling was because they were closing it out, and I wasn't seeing any anything happening about it. So it's almost like government right now is in a state of institutional paralysis all the way from the top as far as immigration goes, because centralized is a wreck because they're letting too many people in here and we're all coming to centralized and making a mess out of it. That's what.
Thank you, Mr. Schlau. Next speaker, Patricia Montanino. Patricia. Patricia N.A. Oh,
Well, it's not on there. Is Mr. DeCiccio with us anymore, or did he go out the back door quietly? Because if Mr. DeCiccio was a real town attorney and not just the nephew of the man who funded and funneled money to your account, he would have known that open meetings for the town, public meetings here, they have to be publicized. You cannot make up your own rules as a so-called town attorney. That's if he's really a town attorney. He would know that. He would know that if an agency maintains a website, all meetings must be made available in real time and posted on the website within a reasonable time. He should have known that. He should also know that the Commissioner of Public Works should be voted in every 2 years, which he never has been. Every 2 years. You can only hold office for 2 years, okay? He would also know that the blocking of streets, I'm hoping that when I foil, you'll have an issuance of a permit for closing streets. And let's see. And upon every vote that you guys do with their agendas, there has to be verbal yay and nay. The supervisor cannot vote for the council people and tell them what they have to say. That's so illegal, it's not even funny. You don't tell people they have to vote. Okay? And let's see. Also, you're all profiting financially off the taxpayers and you want to raise taxes, but you don't want to raise it for services. I think you should let them know, or maybe, okay, I'll let them know. It's because of the out of control spending of this board. To name a few, we can't account for $5 million that you spent on the animal shelter. You can't account for years of millions of dollars supposedly reported by the ambulance exchange. Every year or every month, ambulance exchanges have to report their income. The house on Carlton Avenue, bought by the taxpayers' money, $425,000. It's been there for over 5 years, but you told the news it was going to become a parking lot, town parking lot. Never happened. Many citizens on my block reported the they want the corner fixed. Thank you, Tricia. You have the say to do that, but yet you choose not to. Thank you. I would just like to say I did not, and I hope you don't forget that you allow town employees. Thank you, Patricia. Next speaker. Next speaker, Greg. Greg.
I guess you didn't even learn from last month's meeting when the term doxing came up, because you just proved that to the person that just spoke here. Yeah, I told you, people that were harassed at this podium that you made mention at last month's meeting, we do not have to divulge a name and address. But let's get on to a major issue. And what I presented to Mr. O'Connor, because he represents the district in which the exchange ambulance operates on, in January of the 31st of 2022, you signed a contract agreement, Angie, and you also initialed on page 2 of the agreement that you would, hang on 1 minute, let me just get to page 2. It's under compensation and reporting, letter D, where you initial the box. And by initialing the box, you are assuming the obligation, the town assumes obligation to pay any town residents co-payment, but not the deductible. So the co-payments were being paid for any ambulance call from the exchange ambulance, along with the other 3 ambulance company districts that are charging and billing for a user fee. Now, here's where it gets interesting. My mom needed an ambulance, and she has here the pay stubs here that she owed a co-payment of $91.22. They were kind enough even to send an envelope, this billing company from up in Williamsville, that you detach the stub, make the payment payable, exchange ambulance, and then mail it to them. They in turn then send that payment over to exchange. So here's the breach of contract right here. If the town is assuming to pay the co-payment for the individual, for that patient, which it states right here in black and white, why are these bills being generated in the first place? Okay, why is the patient, the resident, which is a resident, she lives with me at the same address in Islip, why are they being billed? You understand? So I think anyone from when this was initiated back in April of 2020, they initiated this billing for a user fee. Don't forget, we pay taxes on a separate tax line to the exchange ambulance and to these other ambulance districts. The only one that's not billing at the present time is the Sable community. Okay, so they're out of the picture right now. But the other 4 is, I believe, is thinning on thin ice, and these people that paid the co-payments should be reimbursed. According to the contract, and what I'm reading here, and what went on here, the people should get in contact with the appropriate people to request to be refunded in full.
Thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Thank you. Uh, Debbie Kavanaugh?
Good afternoon. I'm here to talk about the Vista project. Vista project. The Vista project, Mike Contillo was part in 2003, the initial committee that put together the Central Islip Master Plan in 2005. If he gets his setback relaxation in order to put his supermarket in, that will then in turn allow Target to apply to fill in the pond. That will in turn change the whole outlook of that corridor. That corridor, according to the community, which sat down with the town in 2005, agreed that they wanted to keep that corridor looking quaint. Any setback relaxation given to any one of the developers is going to cause a change for every developer to apply for the same relaxation. That would be in violation of our master plan and what the community and the town sat down and agreed to in 2005. Mr. Pintillo was part of that committee, and he is the only developer that does not follow the master plan. Every other developer for all the new development has followed the master plan, but him. And I'm appalled to think that this town would go back on a community agreement. I know it wasn't this board who made the agreement. That was agreed with the community in 2005. We spent 2 years with letters, public hearings, working on putting this master plan together. Master plan states very clearly what the setback is supposed to be. The master plan states very clearly on what type of buildings are supposed to be built. It also states what type of businesses that would be accepted in that particular area. And a supermarket was not one of them. I have no objection to a supermarket. I'd rather see a building come down, but I'd like to see the setback maintained. Because that setback, if it's not maintained, will change the whole outlook of the entire corridor of from Suffolk Avenue right down to Smith Street. We have a lot of development going on. We have 1,000 housing units going in below Smith Street. We'll probably have approximately 1,000 houses going in north of Smith Street by the time the sewers go in and the master plan is done. A lot of extra cars on the road, and not making that part of town look like Jericho Turnpike is extremely important to the Central Islip community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Debbie. We heard you last month, and we're hearing you again today, and the Commissioner of Planning is here, and I'm sure she's heard you. And we'll take it all into consideration when it comes before the Planning Board and the Town Board. Andy Cross?
And once again, I'm here about the New York, the NYS real property tax law on my tax bill. When the tax went up 41%, you said it was because the price of housing went down. The price of housing went up at least the last 4 years, and this tax also went up for the last 4 years. Who do we talk to about this? No one? I mean, you're telling people to go to the tax assessor, to this guy, to that guy. Who do I see about this tax? It's taxation without representation. And you know how that went in the Revolutionary War. This tax went up a whopping 15% this year, a rate that you called moderate. What do you call excessive? Why do we have to keep paying this tax? It goes up every year with no one responsible for it. And I'm sure the town board had to vote on this tax. And why does it keep going up every year when supposedly it's tied to the price of housing, which gone up at least the last 4 years? So who do I talk to about this? Anybody? You redid my streets. You said you were going to do the whole neighborhood this year. You did like 6 blocks. Where's the rest of the neighborhood? You sent me a letter saying, I'm happy to inform you where we're doing your streets. How about sending the people that you didn't do? You did West Islip streets 2 years, 2 times, I mean, and you haven't done, you've done ours once. So why are we treated like second-class citizens? Anybody? Nothing? How about, it's unbelievable. I'll wait here till my time is up. 3 minutes is not enough to talk about something when nobody's listening. So maybe if you went up to 5 minutes, maybe it would go through, it would register upstairs somewhere that you got to do something about this tax. Nothing?
Next speaker, Frederick Walker. One more time, Frederick Walker. All right, we'll go to the next speaker, Shadi Attia. Shadi Attia. Anyone out there? I think this may be on the board ups. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, that's it. I have no other cards of anyone who wishes to address this board. Motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Portion, rather, by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor, opposed. The public portion is closed. And we will move now to the agenda. Whoop. Is this Fred Walker? Yes? I'm sorry, John. Um, Did you want to come forward? Is this on a Board of Cleanup resolution? Oh, no, no, no. When I meant come forward, go to the microphone so we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, we went over there. I was cleaning up yesterday with my sister and her husband, and we started boarding up the front already. And we got fresh pictures from on the way here. But I
Have you
didn't know.
talked to the attorney that is working on the board ups? Have you talked to the town attorney's office?
Excuse me?
Have you talked to the town attorney's office that's working on this resolution?
We was talking.
Oh, okay. So I'm sure this will be addressed when it comes up on the agenda. And are you Shadia Tia? Oh, okay. And is this property on O'Kane Street in CI?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, when we have that portion on the agenda, we'll have these pictures and it'll all be taken care of. Thank you. Yes, later in the meeting. All right, I do believe we completed the vote on closing the public portion. So we will go then to the first item on the agenda, John. Meeting of the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency. I would call for a motion to convene. Motion by Councilman Mullin, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor, opposed, we are convened, a quorum being present. Mr. Walzer.
Very much, Madam Chair, members of the agency board, John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip, New York. I have several items for your consideration today. The first would be to approve the minutes from the October 18th meeting.
Any questions on the minutes? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor, opposed? It is approved.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is an inducement resolution for Galil Importing Corporation. So this is a new project. This is a expansion of a food distributor. They currently have a location in Islip at 21 Newton Place. I'm sorry, at 45 Gilpin Avenue in Hauppauge, 175,000 square feet. They are buying a second building at 21 Newton Place in Hauppauge, a 30,000 square foot industrial building where they plan to put a 20,000 square foot addition to. This is a $12 million capital investment. They currently employ 47 people. They plan to add 10 jobs to that.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is an amended authorizing resolution for 22-50 Jackson Avenue Associates, Parcel 1, to consider a modification of the pilot agreement.
Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
Thank you. The next item is also an amended authorizing resolution for 2250 Jackson Avenue Associates, Parcel 2, also to consider a modification of the pilot agreement.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran,
Second.
second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Okay, thank you. And the last item I have for your consideration is an amended authorizing resolution for Eastview Apartment Development LLC on Eastview Drive in Central Islip to account for an increase in the square footage of the proposed facility. There's not an increase to the number of units to this housing development, just an increase to the square footage of the overall facility.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Thank you. That's all I have for you today.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned. Next, item 2, meeting of the Town of Islip Resource Recovery Agency. Commissioner Baloo.
Madam Chair, members of the agency board, Martin Blue, 401.
And thank you for all your help with those students. They seem to appreciate it, and we've made tremendous strides, so thank you.
and we'll have further talks. 401 Main Street, Islip, New York. I have two items for consideration today. First is the approval of the minutes for the October 18th, 2022 agency board meeting.
Any changes on the minutes? Hearing none, motion? Motion by Councilman Gordon, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are approved.
The last resolution is a resolution authorizing the Islip Resource Recovery Agency non-represented white-collar employees to be in parity for benefits with the town of Islip white-collar.
Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Gordon. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved.
That concludes business.
Thank you. Marty, we have a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you very much, Marty. Next, item 3 on the agenda are the Board of Cleanup resolutions.
Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor, members of the Town Board and the Town Clerk. Jeffrey Panache, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street, Islip, New York. Number 1, to board up and clean up the premises located at 7 South Bay Avenue in Bay Shore. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, openings in the roof, high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with a property interest in the premises.
Okay, are there any questions? Now, someone had filled out a card about this, Shadi Atia. Have they been in communication with you at all?
I did have an opportunity to speak with that individual outside. It's my understanding, based on our conversations, that they no longer wish to address the board.
Okay, so I guess everything's been resolved then.
I think they have a better understanding of the process.
Okay, great. Okay, so is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guardano. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 2, to board up and clean up the premises located at 9 O'Kane Street in Central Islip. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, openings in the roof, high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with property interest in the premises.
And likewise, on this property, Mr. Walker was here. Have you had an opportunity to speak with him?
Yes, I believe they are still here. They're seated right in the front.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that. What I asked is, have you had an opportunity to talk to them so they know exactly what's happening here?
Yes, we did. Obviously, they disagreed with the process, but we indicated that we would be presenting it toward the board for the resolution here today.
So exactly what impact will this have on them?
Well, it's my understanding that this property is owned by, I believe, their deceased parent, and they had indicated that they were not receiving notice based on the fact that they had lived at a different address. But we went over the process and how they were, how we got the address to provide the notice. We also went over the process of how we posted on that particular property 2 weeks in advance. So it's my understanding that they were attempting to comply, but they didn't have the time, which was their concern.
Okay, so are we going to be moving quickly on this, or can we give them a little latitude to get into compliance, say, 2 weeks?
I wouldn't oppose anything like that, Judge, or excuse me, Supervisor, but we did explain to them that this has been occurring over a long period of time, so we didn't want to go too long.
Okay,
May I?
sure.
Jeffrey, the board is provided with photos of the property. And the process, as I understand it, is these photos are taken by the folks in our fire marshal's office the day before the board meeting. Sometimes they're even time-stamped the day before. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so the photos that we've been provided by the fire marshal was taken at some point in time yesterday. We were presented with photos here today
by, as you mentioned, I think Mr. Walker and perhaps his spouse, I'm not sure. She didn't indicate who she was on the record, but, and they showed a difference in the photos that were presented to us that were taken yesterday, in that the two windows on the front of the house are now boarded up, and they weren't in the photos that were presented to us from yesterday. So could something have, or is that logical to assume that between the time our fire marshal took the pictures yesterday until the time that these photos were taken, they have taken some steps to board up the property?
Based on my conversations with them, yes, that is what occurred.
So I would agree then with the supervisor that we should give them some more time, since they seem to be moving in the right direction.
Okay. So having said that, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn it to.
Well, I think
vote
what
on it, or
probably the best course of action is to approve it here today, with the understanding that they have 2 weeks before we would act on anything.
I'll
I
make
understand that.
motion.
Okay. So we have a motion by Councilman Mullen, second.
Second.
By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Okay, next.
Number 3 has been withdrawn because the property is now in compliance. Number 4, to board and clean up the premises located at 60 Andrew Avenue and Islip Terrace. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unsecured accessory structure, high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with property interest in the premises.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor. Second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 5, to clean up the premises located at 65 Mohican Avenue in Ronkonkoma. On this property, there now exists overgrown vegetation, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with property interest in the premises.
Any questions? Motion
Motion.
by Councilman Mullen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 6, to clean up the premises located at 82 Gates Avenue in Central Islip. On this property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with property interest in the premises.
This, from these photos here, it kind of looks like it's halfway being constructed or re-sided or something. What is going on? Do you know?
I'm not sure offhand. I did notice that myself. I'm not sure. However, obviously, when the code enforcement investigator went there yesterday, there was not significant progress made.
Okay. Any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardano. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 7, to clean up the premises located at 92 Ocean Avenue in Bayshore. On this property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with property interest in the premises.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guardano. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 8, to board up, clean up the premises located at 529 Spur Drive North in Bayshore. On this vacant unsecured property, there now exists unsecured windows and doors, high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with property interest in the premises.
Do people live in this one?
I don't believe so. No, according to code enforcement, it's vacant. Are there any other questions? Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second.
Second.
By Councilman Guardano. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Number 9, to board up and clean up the premises located at 1103 Martinstein Avenue in Bayshore. On this vacant and unsecured property, there now exists an unsecured accessory structure, high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris, which constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with the property interest in this premises.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Finally, number 10, to clean up the premises located at 1972 Julia Goldbach Avenue in Ronkonkoma. On this property, there now exists high grass, overgrown vegetation, and litter and debris. Constitutes a nuisance and presents a fire, safety, and health hazard. Notice of this hearing was provided to all known persons with property interest in this premises.
The Vochelkas were here speaking on this particular parcel. And it seems from what Mr. Vochelka said, he works long hours and just has those 2 days and seems to be attempting to take care of this. Is that your understanding?
I did have an opportunity to speak with him as well, and I've also spoken with him on numerous occasions over the course of the past month. That is my understanding. I did explain to him that this was obviously a property that had a resolution before the board in 2018 for a similar circumstance. So I understand that he was having difficulties bringing the property into compliance in the time period we allowed him. However, I did tell him that it was going to go before the town board because at this point, the code enforcement investigator does not feel that enough progress was made. And based on the pictures we took yesterday, recommended, obviously, that this be presented to the town board.
And as you said in your remarks, prefacing this, it appears to be an unsafe condition, so we don't want this lingering. However, I think we could extend the same courtesy that we did to the other couples that came down, approve this today with the understanding we would give them a 2-week grace period to move forward. Okay. Do you have a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve.
Actually, at this point, your husband spoke, and I thought you indicate. Okay, your brother. I'm sorry.
And what's going on in this case is that I purchased that home in 1985. I put more than $100,000 into that property and thousands of dollars in landscaping. The overgrown grass and bushes and overgrown that you described are all specimen planting. And in that, the neighborhood, I have problems with the neighbors, but I have a neighbor that's an ongoing thing. She'll prune my bushes and throw everything into my side. She'll have the landscapers come and go all the weeds because I have the chicken goat to the left on the lot. Everybody else is white PVC and grass. So mine with woodland gardens and my grass.
Excuse me, with all due respect, we did hear from your brother. Just listen to what you had to say, and I'm sorry for, what you're going through, but perhaps you didn't hear me. We are going to take the step of granting you a little bit more time than would normally be had in this situation. So this has been going on for a long time. It's been deemed an unsafe condition. And if we were to be negligent in our duties in addressing it, and God forbid somebody got hurt, you too would be responsible, and I don't think that would be what anybody would want to see happen. So no more debate, no more discussion. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor. Second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Mullen, again with the understanding that we're granting a little bit more time before we proceed with the board up cleanup. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. There are no other board up cleanups that I see on the agenda, correct? Okay. Thank you very much, Jeff. We will now move to the next item on the agenda, which are the bid awards. Any questions or comments on them? Hearing none, motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 5, the option year resolutions. Any questions, comments? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mullen, second. Second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 6, authorization for town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider amending the Town of Islip Uniform Traffic Code. Motion?
Motion.
By Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next item on the agenda is the town board approval to symbolically rename Candlewood Road and Stein Drive in Brentwood to Abdulio de Leon Way. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 8 are the appropriation transfers. Questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next, item 9 are the special events. Number of holiday events coming up, none the least of which is the holiday parade and Miracle on Main in Sayville. And I want to thank everyone's indulgence. I know this paperwork came in at the last minute, and thank you so much for making this happen. I know many people in the community and beyond the community of Sayville really enjoy the event. Is there a motion? Motion by Councilman Mullins, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 10, town board approval to amend the town's administrative procedures manual and town's dedicated paid leave bank program policy to reflect changes to the law. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 11, town board approval to accept funds from Youth Enrichment Services for the purchase of 4 2023 Ford Transit 15-passenger vans to be utilized by the Youth Bureau and youth agencies. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran. Second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 12, town board approval of permitting the Islip Town Youth Bureau to host drop-off sites throughout the town to collect pass-through donations for the Youth Bureau Holiday Toy Drive program. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilwoman Mullen, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 13, authorization for supervisor to execute a one-year contract renewal and amendment with DL Concrete Corporation for contract DPD 521, streetscapes and sidewalks. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. We will move now to, just wanted to, item 14, authorization with the supervisor to execute an easement in favor of the Eastview Apartment Development LLC for drainage purposes within a portion of the Town of Islip dedicated highway located along Eastview Drive in central Islip. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 15, town board acceptance of an easement in favor of the Town of Islip for property owned at 546 Montauk Highway LLC or premises located at 546 Montauk Highway in West Islip to be used for drainage purposes. Questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second. By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 16, town board acceptance of the dedication of Orville Drive in Bohemia as a public highway of the Town of Islip. Questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second. By Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 17, authorization for the supervisor to enter into various agreements for programs or events to be held throughout the town to be funded either by registration or grant funds. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor, opposed, it is approved. Item 18, authorization supervisor to declare surplus and enter into a contract of sale and consolidate all tax parcels under common ownership with Brentwood Legion Ambulance Services for real property located at 29 3rd Avenue, Brentwood. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? We have 4 in favor, 1 recusal. The motion is approved. Item 19, authorization for the supervisor to declare surplus and enter into a contract of sale and consolidate all tax parcels under common ownership with Brentwood Legion Ambulance Services for real property located at 25 3rd Avenue. Questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? 4 in favor, 1 recusal. The motion is approved. Item 20, authorization for the supervisor to declare surplus and enter into a contract of sale with Ramsey Realtors for real property located at 0 Connecticut Avenue, Central Islip. Questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 21 is the town board adoption of the written procedure entitled Senior Citizen Center Policy and Procedure and the Recreation Center Policy and Procedure. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 22, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for a public hearing to consider amending Islip Town Code, Chapter 19, entitled Fire Prevention. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 23, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider amending Islip Town Code, Chapter 23A, entitled Graffiti. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Approved. Item 24, authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with New York Party Works LLC to provide an iceless skating rink and additional items to be utilized at the Holiday Festival and Market at Brookwood Hall on Saturday, December 3rd. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And thank you to all of the elves from Parks that worked so hard on this, and we're looking forward to seeing everyone there. Item 25, authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with Ice Memories, Inc. to provide ice carving demonstrations and sculptures for the Holiday Festival and Market on the grounds of Brookwood Hall. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 26, authorization for supervisor to sign any and all documents necessary for the awarding of the general contracting contract with Stalco Construction in connection with the main terminal building MEP upgrades Phase 2 at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 27, authorization for the supervisor to sign any and all documents necessary for the awarding of the HVAC contract with Premier Mechanical Services, Inc. for the main terminal building MEP upgrades Phase 2 at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 28, authorization for supervisor to sign any and all documents necessary for the awarding of the contract with Banner Electric Corp. as the electrical contractor in connection with the main terminal building MEP upgrades Phase 2 at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullen, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? 4 in favor, 1 recusal. The motion is approved. Item 29, authorization for supervisor to sign any and all documents necessary for the awarding of the contract with WHM Plumbing and Heating Contractors, Inc. as a plumbing contractor in connection with the main terminal building MEP upgrades Phase 2 at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guadron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 30, authorization of the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate a First Amendment to the amended and restated ground lease between the town and Mid-Island Air Realty. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second.
Second.
By Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 31, Town Board approval superseding resolution number 19 passed on October 18, 2022 due to a Scrivener's error. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Mullin, second. By Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 32, authorization for supervisor to execute a perpetual easement on Blydenburg Road in the hamlet of Hop for drainage purposes. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 33, Town Board approval of the revised rates for the rental equipment of machinery for snow and ice removal. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran,
Second.
second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? And hopefully we won't need it, but I doubt that. Item 34, authorization for supervisor to execute any documents required to apply for and accept grant funding from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York for the construction of an inclusive play area at Roberto Clemente Park in Brentwood. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Acceptance of a deed from South Second Enterprise LLC for a road widening dedication along the south side of 890 South Second Street, Ronkonkoma, for highway purposes. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 36, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider the enactment of a local law amending Chapter 8, Article 2, entitled Cannabis, and amending Chapter 68 of the Town of Islip Code. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second.
Second.
By Councilman Cochran. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 37, authorization for the supervisor to execute any documents required to apply for and accept grant funding from the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York for the installation of a turf field at the Eastview Fields in Central Islip. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 38, Town Board approval to recognize Saturday, November 26, 2022, as Small Business Saturday in the town of Islip. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Cochran. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Happy shopping, everybody. Item 39, authorization for the town clerk to advertise for public hearing to consider entering into a contract with the fire commissioners of the Bay Shore Fire District for fire protection for the year 2023. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Guardone. 4 in favor, 1 recusal. The motion is approved. Item 40, acceptance of a donation of various holiday decorative items from Urban Edge Properties, Sunrise Mall, to be part of the town's free holiday drive-through light show at Brookwood Hall. This was an incredible donation, very fortuitous for us as the mall is kind of reinventing themselves. And it's just going to be great. It's going to be a great event. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Mullen. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. And I believe that is all of the business that's before us. Motion to adjourn by Councilman Cochran, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you very much, and everyone have a wonderful, happy, healthy Thanksgiving.